Hey everybody, it's your pal Drew Tracy, 30-year veteran of the comics industry for DC, Marvel, Dark Horse, Cross Image, IDW, etc., and three-time author on Amazon. My books, the book's called The Demands, after an imaginary band of the same name. They're in Pittsburgh. They play bars and clubs that are owned by the Russian mob. Our main character, the ingenue Lainey Kilburn, falls in love with the son of one of the major mobsters. And, oh boy, are you in for a treat. These are prose novels, and they're available on Amazon or free with Amazon Kindle. Okay, I'm going to cover Sandy Plunkett, who is someone who's really... A lot of people either don't know him or they'll go, oh, I sort of remember him, because... he's a fantastic artist who only dabbles in comics work. He does so many other things, but I wanted to focus on the comic art. And I actually got to meet him, and he was kind enough to give me this booklet that he did that was printed in connection with the Comics Art Forum 2000, held at the Savannah College of Art and Design. I was invited to come down with Sandy, Walt Simonson, Wheezy Simonson, Brian Stelfreeze, Bo Hampton, and also Jack Davis, the classic Mad Magazine artist and cover artist, advertising artist. He couldn't make it at the last minute, and that was a shame, but we had a fantastic time. So my workshop consisted of, inking. I just directly went with what I do best, and I had told... I started off the class saying that, you see the person next to you, the person behind you, the friend back behind you and in front of you. They're all your competition. So you can help share things, but don't let somebody outshine you if you can. And I went over the history of comics, where it's littered with divorce and alcoholics and all kinds of stuff like that. And I left it quite an impression, and because they never asked me back. So, okay, well, here we go. Enough chattering about me, although I could go on and on about that. Anybody who knows me knows that. Like I said, Sandy Plunkett, he is a really great, fine artist, and thankfully he's liked comics and has treated us to some great stuff. And he worked on the Rocketeer, IDW a while back, and he actually started out... I'll show up some more stuff. Okay, hang in there, everybody. Just drink that in. Inked by Alan Weiss. Soul Avengers number 19. Should be dirt cheap, and your local comic shop most likely has it. But Sandy started off working at Neil Adams Continuity Studios, but as what they call the Krusty Bunkers, which was a group of assistants and up-and-coming great artists that they called themselves the Krusty Bunkers, and they basically helped ink books that were tight on deadlines and such. And the results were always great. It'd be like Neil, Dick Giordano, and a whole bunch of others that have graduated, or not graduated, but people like, I think, Bob McLeod, and a lot of people got out. Larry Hama, of course, but they developed this style that when they jammed on the inking, I think Neil went over them at the last minute and kind of added a little bit of pizzazz to it. But they maintained quality. That's the thing. It didn't look like a gangbang of artists. He's done, you can look him up. He's actually on Wikipedia, and he's no relation to the writer. I think it's Kelly Plunkett or Kelly Punkett or whatever. The guy who did Batgirl in the mid-2000s. That's so incredible. Scott Hampton. He had... Whoop, I dropped my notes. Hang in, everybody. Hang in. Okay, all better. He has done, and you can see on the Wikipedia, a single issue of Conan, some books for the New Universe, came out in '86 or so, with Night Mask and Justice, codename Spitfire. And he also did some work for Epic Illustrated, which is a very it's a very big deal because they didn't just invite anybody to do it because it was a premium magazine with fantastic art. So let's get back to Sandy Plunkett, and I apologize for all my prefacing, but I'm trying to give you like the backstory. Okay, class, refer to your Marvel Masterworks. What is this? 206 or 260, 260. And the first time, one of his earliest jobs was in a backup for Defenders 53, which that was a shit show. 53 and 54 just had like a ton of artists. I mean, that's a great GIF ending, but there's some really wobbly shit in the middle. So here's Sandy Plunkett. I don't know Naomi Basner. I've never ever read that name before in all my years. But maybe he or she, I mean, she was a friend of Sandy's that wrote that. But Tony Salmon's on inks. Tony would become this big fan favorite down the road with his very uncommon style. There's good old Marie Severin, Joe Rosen, Archie Goodwin. Okay, well, it's Clea the Mystic Maiden. And whoop. And Marie's decades of coloring, starting with the EC comics that were widely popular. And she shows more. I mean, the way she separates these things. I don't know if Sandy liked the final results, but I sure do. That's great. Double lighting, you know, the old Wallywood thing that just works every time. So there we go. It's like a 5-page story. She just clunks him with the an artifact instead of using the mystic power because he stole mystic power from her. Okay, now I'm going to jump around a tad, but this, let's see. This is from an issue of Marvel Fanfare that has, as soon as okay. If you were a Marvel fan in the 80s, chances are you bought Marvel Fanfare, at least the first year on and off, because there was some fill-in stuff that was inventory work from different artists. This here is actually by P. Craig Russell from 1982, but on the interiors, he's actually inking Sandy Plunkett, and P. Craig Russell is, you know, he's comic art royalty. I mean, his stuff is just magnificent, and for him to ink Sandy, it's a huge, you know, he knows. P. Craig Russell, only other person I think he's inked beside himself was Steve Ditko, and he did some amazing stuff. Look how he does the musculature. It's like he knows the figure or the, you know, just the general muscles of a woman. And I know she's, you know, just get that superhero bod, but it's like if she had, even if she was heavier, he would have all the knowledge of what muscles go where and how they connect. You know, he could draw anything, and it's just amazing. And I think Craig Hamilton, or no, I know Craig Hamilton. I get that mixed up with P. Craig Russell. Craig Hamilton's a great artist too. He's sort of in the vein of this kind of artwork too. And but this is P. Craig Russell over Sandy Plunkett, just astonishing. And they go back to that old some old story with where Spider-Man and Doctor Strange fought him twice. Who wrote this? Sorry about that. I gotta find out. I forgot. Oh, Mike W. Barr. Great writer. Great writer. Did Camelot 2000, Batman, Son of the Demon. Well, how's about that for a page? The webbing's not going to show up strong because Russell inked the webbing with a very, very fine line. That's just amazing there. That you could tell what's going on. There's a lot of movement in this panel, even though it's stock still for a panel, almost like a snapshot. And there's some more of that goodness. And he also makes it exciting. He does a lot of It's really enjoyable stuff. Because at the time, Scarlet Witch was, you know, she wasn't well known as, I mean, outside of the Avengers. She didn't have much adventures outside of the Avengers. Come on. Come on. There we go. There we go. Lovely. Okay. So, that's where I first heard of him, saw him, and it just bowled me over. Anybody set of eyes could tell it'll bowl you over. Well, there's that. And I don't have those New Universe comics that he worked on, but I do have some subsequent work that he had done, including this cover I teased you with earlier. Actually, I'm jumping ahead. He did just a cover of Solo Avengers number 14. Chances are you get these real cheap at your local comic shop. Probably anything he's done, because he's not been a showy self-promoter, and he's never really done his own series. But it's one of those things that it's a great surprise to run across his work. And there's Scott Hampton. And this is not only the cover, he does a Black Panther backup story. Okay. Inked by Scott Hampton, as is the cover. Amazing stuff. But I'm going to rush you through this because I have it in glorious black and white with clear inks. Here we go. There we go. Here we go. Like I said, this will show up much better as a black and white. You know, so it's slightly better than the newsprint that they did the original comics on. Okay, and just doesn't have the captions. It just has the elegant artwork. Look at all that went into those clouds. And this is what Sandy had to say. My first story, The Vanities of Philip Whitehead, is printed here without text. It could be reasonably assumed that this is a carefully considered decision, an attempt to force the student of the sequential narrative into a more analytical response of storytelling techniques. Actually, a wordless version of the story was all that I could scrape up in time for the printing of this book. But the reality of disorganized files aside, it seems that it could benefit the would-be comic book practitioner to study unscripted pages on occasion. In a sense, it puts you in the co-pilot's seat, a far more active member of the flight than the passengers in economy class. You might not be making the decisions, but you are shoulder to shoulder with the one who is, please excuse the metaphor. The story was inked by Scott Hampton. If you're interested in tracking down a version of with captions of word balloons, check out early issues of Solo Avengers. And I showed you that already. And your eyes are really going to pop when you see what I have to show you later. But they make a really good team. That's great. The fades, you know, the drop-offs, very, very classic style. You know, it's like old adventure newspaper strips from way back in the day. But it's almost like every panel is precious, but it doesn't linger. It moves on. It has a nice pace to it. But each one of these would make a beautiful individual designed poster. I mean, some more demons. Love that. He's using his enhanced senses to figure out how to defeat these demons because he's just gotta. And it's 2-to-1, so it's a bit tricky. That is magnificent. This other guy's with T'Challa. That's just wow. Did I miss a page? Yes, I did. Bad on me. Okay. And this is inked by Scott Hampton. Lovely, lovely work. Well, now here's the treat. Ant-Man, penciled and ink by him. I'll just show you the art while I read. You might think that writing a short story is easier than writing a long one. After all, there are less characters and events to construct into the unified structure. But there are other considerations that actually make the shorter format more difficult. No matter how much you condense the plot, the story demands a beginning, a middle, and an ending. Hopefully, there will also be room for the development of characters and mood. Short of cramming the pages with lots of teeny tiny panels, how do you manage all of this within the spaces of, say, 8 pages? Between each panel of the comic story, there is a passage of time. The greater the time gap, the more insubstantial the visual connection between one panel and the next. Or, to put it another way, the greater the time gap, the more that happens in between the panels. In shorter stories where condensing time becomes more important, you are forced to take greater advantage of those gaps. But without careful planning, you can lose your readers in the chasm. So 8 pages of a self-contained story takes a lot more brain work than 8 pages excerpted from a standard length story. I can't add to that. He's got it. Now, that's just amazing stuff. He comes up with a little Ant-Man kind of symbol. This is from, write this down, it's from Marvel Comics Presents number 131. And like I said, your shops should have back issues of all these books. And they're not expensive, so it's just, if you dig on this art, you know where to get it. That I don't know what to say about that. It's wonderful. He goes to his house because there'll be a dragnet out soon, but no one saw his face. There's no way he could be connected to his crime. Okay, this guy breaks into a house where they're living the life of luxury. His mom's going out. You're on your own, honor to eat your dinner like a little gentleman. But Mom, that's enough, Leaf. While Juanita's away, we all have to pull together. I spent the entire afternoon cooking your favorite meal. I want you to be appreciative. But Mom, remember last time you tried to cook? We had to send Rover to the vet. Here comes Ant-Man. Now, he was in pursuit of that criminal. That face is just stunning. And it's not like, I mean, in superhero comics, I'm guilty of it too. Everybody kind of overextends a face to make it action-y, even if nothing's going on. But, Sandy isn't afraid of doing quiet moments. That's just amazing right there. You can really see the P. Craig Russell reference, inspiration on the kid's face. And the kid's being a little prick. Wait, I got a science project due for school. You'd be perfect. Sorry, soldier. Sorry, soldier? I hate when grown-ups talk to me that way. So he splats some peas and potatoes at Ant-Man. Oh, no. I can forgive you for taking shots at me with your pop gun, kid, but not this. Not premeditated ant slaughter. So he gets on the spoon too and retaliates, fighting fire with fire. And he's about to get mustard really bad. And that could really F you up if you get it in the eyes and shit. Near miss. This punk's got more tricks up his sleeve than Doc Doom. Now tell me how many comic artists, current and in the recent past, are just working in the superhero genre that could pull off that middle panel with that angle of the back, with all the musculature. It's just so informed. I mean, there's not a squeaker in the whole story. And he gets out. He's trying to dodge that bratty kid, so he goes into. And Ant-Man slips into the hollowed bowels of a roasted fowl. If I start an indie band, I would call it Bowels of a Roasted Fowl. It just sounds great. Not exactly the Ritz, is it? So, and he's got gravy stains on him. That hair and those wispy lines, they're orderly, but they're not slavishly so. They're not just, you know, one line after another. I wish I could say that better, but, you know. Well, that little kid gets whacked by this criminal that Ant-Man was chasing. And he pops up. He goes, "Where'd you come from?" "Well, if you really wanted to know, I popped out of a chicken. Say goodnight, Mr. Bad Guy." "Oh, no, I can't believe you did that." "It'll be all right. I'm not worried about that, jerk, you moron. Look at the place. It's a disaster area. Mom's going to kill me. Where are you going? You got to bail me out." There's another beautiful Ant-Man image. Wonderful. Wonderful. So he says, "Call 911. And the mom comes home. She starts, you know, "Oh my gosh." Not that I feel sorry for the kid, but no punishment could be worse than having to eat that supper. Hi-oh, silver away. Now I'll do his afterward. How about that? Got some Alphonse Mucha action going on. This is from '96. That's just heavenly. But I'm going to stick on this page while I read the rest. Hang on. Though they pay better than interior pages and are more sought after than in the collector's markets, covers are often easier to produce with a page than a page of continuity. Each panel on a comics page should be well balanced and independently strong in composition and design, and it must fit in perfectly to the overall graphic design of the page and progress the continuity clearly and effectively. The cover simply has to sell the book. Unfortunately, covers have regularly been destroyed by overzealous attempts to do just that. During the 1990s, all sorts of gimmicks were used on the covers to try and make one title stand out from another on the racks. Lost in all the fancy razzle-dazzle was the idea that an imaginative concept and good drawing might actually attract a potential buyer. As they say, art is the first casualty of commerce. That's a beautiful way to put it. I'm going to wrap up. This is like my 5th attempt to do this, so I hope it's worth it. And all of you have a good day. And please smash the like and subscribe button and share it with somebody. And most importantly, please leave comments below. I mean, I don't edit them. I don't, you know, I won't bust your chops or anything. I just wanted, I just like to hear feedback. That's all. And that's what this channel's all about. I take no advertising from anybody, since you probably noticed I don't have any commercials. That's it. And you have a great day. Bye.